Embiid, nice defense there on McDaniels, who's looking for a call. Good luck. Simmons tracking it down and somehow providing a finish. Come good soon enough, and sure enough, he did. The fake hit paid off. It's behind the back to Embiid. Joel getting his first bucket of the game. Embiid has already missed a couple of threes. There's Green, hits for a three. Got it. So Danny Green hits the sneaking up there and trying to pass Joel's attention.
Welcome everybody, Half Court Heat episode 15. And I wish I could come in here a little more excited. I wish we were coming off a win, okay? But we're not, okay? Game one loss, Sixers try to come back, doesn't happen. Obviously, when you get down early to good teams, it's really, really hard to come back. Now, a lot of things to talk about. But before we get into this, okay, I have to get something off my chest. And we're having a little technical difficulties with Al, and hope coming in and out. We'll get him back. Andre will be in a little late, but I just want to say something because it's been bothering me for a while. And the thing that's been bothering me is I listen to so many people on Twitter all over the world talk about how the national perspective is wrong. Oh my God. Why? How can they like the Hawks? How can they absolutely like the Hawks? And listen, I am not saying that I do not think the Sixers will win this series. But what I'm saying is people need to wake up a little bit. And honestly, calling out media members because they may think that the 76ers aren't a test for the Hawks, or they may think differently, isn't really the way to go. My man, I love it. Look at that. Hey, my man Bird second say absolutely prime's the only way to go. We know that all you need anything when it comes to roofing. Prime is the only way to go. You let me know what you need, and I'll get you in touch with the man. And Trevor, absolutely, what a cover by the Atlanta Hawks. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, absolutely. We're bringing Al back. Al's having some technical difficulties, so we'll see if we can get him back. But here's the thing: you don't make a name for yourself by calling everybody out, right? It's okay to disagree with people, okay, but have some facts behind what you're speaking, okay? And in my opinion, there wasn't enough between everybody else, because we talked about on this show, and here comes Al. I think we got Al. Al was gone and come back, but we talked about this show about the Atlanta Hawks having a tremendous amount of shooters on his team. Now, I know everybody's going to say, you're not going to shoot like that. Listen, if you break down the box score, their percentages wasn't that much more, if not less, than the 76ers, okay? So when you look at this as a whole, you're looking at 55% for the 76ers and 51% for the Atlanta Hawks. Now, where the difference was the three-point land, okay? 34% for the Sixers, 42% for the Hawks. But here's the thing. Everybody has to stop and take a good look at the Atlanta Hawks pre-Nate McMillan and now post Lloyd Pierce. And I don't think that they were looking at that enough, because I talked about Nate McMillan on the show, and I said he is a grimy veteran coach, man. He's going to have these boys ready to play. And that's exactly what he did. Okay, I'm not saying I'm all Mr. Atlanta Hawks. What I'm saying is you can't just completely discount the way Atlanta played up to this point. And you've seen right now, they came into our house, and Al, let me say this, because we talked about this off air. It is a complete violation to come in, okay, when you have triple damn H ringing the bell, okay, when you know it's game one in your house, right, to come unprepared. Right? That can't
Yeah.
happen. Doc cannot have his team come in here unprepared for 3.5 quarters of basketball and expect to win a ball game. I'm sorry that's the one thing that really burned me up. So, Al, what's your thoughts on game one?
That's true. I mean, the place is packed finally, and it's jumping, and we're down 20. Like that. Just like that, we down 20. Like that cannot happen in the first game of a new series. It just can't happen. I don't know where the enthusiasm, the energy, they didn't have any of it. I don't know what was going on, but nobody had any fire into the third quarter. You can't have fire in the third quarter in a playoff game. So I don't know what was going on with that. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't home, so I couldn't see any post-game stuff to see if anybody asked any of those type of questions. Where's the fire? Where's the passion at? The Philly passion? I see none of that in the first quarter, second quarter, and half of the third.
Well, I don't know, man. You got to. Here's what I will say. I don't know if we can really realistically say that, because we got a guy with a torn meniscus out there playing his ass off. Okay, plays 38 minutes, which I even thought, I'm shocked that he played 38 minutes, to be honest with you. Because when I'm looking at the box score and I'm looking at Dwight Howard only playing 8 minutes, I'm a little surprised at. Now, what I will say is, most likely the reason for that minute differential is because that game was so out of hand in the first 2 quarters. Doc was trying everything he could do to get the boys back. And obviously the ball goes to Joel Embiid, and you need the big man in there in order to come back. But I'm just, I'm surprised. And I hate to say wasted effort, but when you got your big dog out there, knowing he's playing through pain, giving you all he's got, and he drops you 39 and 38, and you still come up short. I mean, there was plays that I watched that, again, and I hate to kill him, because I know that everybody thinks that, he is the absolute X factor, and I think we hope that he's the X factor. But Tobias and me, listen, again, I'm looking beyond the points, okay? Everybody, I don't care if he scored 20 points. I don't care if he shot 60% from the field. I watched multiple plays down the stretch where he looked confused, and he looked like he didn't want to take charge, going into the paint, getting the ball stolen from him, hitting awkward shots. We need better than that when we're in the playoffs. And that's my issue. You can't come small. You got to look beyond the box score, Al. And they're the kind of things that I've seen. And I think I want your opinion on this too. I think, obviously, I know everybody's talking about making the adjustment late and things of that nature, but why it took so long to switch up defensively, because at least when Matisse came in the game and was on Trae Young, at least and again, I know we're going to get the officiating, but at least he made Trae Young think about his shot a little bit. And at least he made it a little more awkward and made it more difficult for him to get a good look. I mean, that was one of the biggest things that I think about. Vinny says, Al, I don't think enthusiasm or energy, the defensive game plan was wrong for the jump. I listen, Vinny, I absolutely agree with you. I don't know what was going on with that. Obviously, it's game one. And I get, you mentioned Doc getting out coached by another veteran coach, right? Which is, again, I mean, this was the fear coming into the series, right? This was the fear. And we talk about that. Are we going to get Doc Rivers of the Clippers, or are we going to get the Doc Rivers that we need for the Sixers? And that was one of the biggest problems. Vinny says Tobias wasn't aggressive at all today. It's Vinny, this is what kills me. And I'm not even getting the money, because everybody talking about maxed out player and talking about the money. But one of my biggest things is, all things aside, you have your big man with a torn meniscus. Okay, you already have Ben, who is a facilitator and not a shooter. And now you need to step up. This is your time, Tobias, to step up. This is when we need you. These are the games when we need you. And I understand if you look at the box score and you say he shot 61%, and you're like, oh, that's great. But he wasn't aggressive at all, which I completely agree with, Vinny. Completely agree. And when he won it, like, it was weird. He just looked like he was off a step. all the time. He just looked at he didn't look right. He didn't look comfortable, and I'm not sure why that is. I'm really not. And this is one of the things I was scared about. I was scared about Nate McMillan coming into this game. I was scared about Clint Capella in the middle because I think he's very underrated at his position, and I was very, very concerned about all the shooters they have on the Hawks. Now, I get it. Not everybody's going to be on fire every single game. But the problem is you still can't use that as an excuse. You can't get down 20 to 25 points in game one. It's unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. 100%. And Vinny, you're right. Danny Green was a ghost too, unfortunately. And listen, we watched him have those games for the Lakers. So I think we were just hoping that does not continue with the Philadelphia 76ers in game one, right? Or I should say game two. We know exactly what that means. Now, Matisse, all right, Gene checking in. Matisse needs to be starting and following around Trae. You have two real jobs. Slow down Trae and stop Bodon. All right? Or Bodon. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Gene, I completely agree. I don't understand why it took so long to get Matisse into that game. I don't understand it. I mean, listen, I understand that Ben, is your guy, but the way you had that matchup right there, you already had to see that you needed Matisse into that game a lot earlier, okay, than halfway through the second quarter, which I still don't understand, right? I don't get it. Just unbelievable. It's really weird. Brian checking in says, unacceptable is an understatement. I completely agree. Adam checking in. What's up? I know Adam was down at the game. Okay, Adam checking in. I know me and Adam go back and forth. My daughter was at the game, sitting a couple sections over from Adam. Adam was at the game, said the place was unbelievable. I wish I was there, right? I wish I was there because I'm a big wrestling guy. And when Triple H would come out, I mean, listen, man, I'm a huge WWE guy, and I loved every minute of that. And I thought that was the fuel we need. Again, I'll go back to this in the beginning before I bring Al and Andre back and get the technical difficulties back under control here. But my biggest thing is you have Triple H, the game, man. The game, Mr. D-Generation X, Mr. WWE. You have this guy in to ring your bell. This is game one in your house against the Atlanta Hawks, a team that you should beat, right? You may have a little bit of trouble, but you should beat. And to come in unprepared, to me, absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand how this happens. Adam says the rest didn't help us either. I understand. I know, but you have to fight through that. You have to fight through that. And I'm a little disappointed. Okay. And I'm curious to see what everybody thinks about that. I'm a little disappointed that I'm reading a lot about Doc being, talking about how he's lobbying for the officiating being better. I'm sorry. We cannot rely on the referees for these games. We just can't. Brian saying the lack of execution, especially on the defensive end to start the game, was yes, 100%. If you can't get up for this game, then you shouldn't be playing, man. It's as simple as that. 100%. Doc was completely unprepared today. He had no idea what was coming. That's Vinny, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. That's one of the things that I would say, in my opinion, okay, that is a little concerning, right? A little concerning. What's up, God? What's up, man? How you doing? Checking in, DDS. Adam checking in. It was awesome when he came out. 100%. Obviously we're talking about Triple H. And the Sixers either passed up or missed too many open. That's what I don't get. Let me see if I can bring Al back in here and see if he can get going and see if his connection's a little better. We'll see if we're able to keep him here or not. But Al, a lot of this is going, we're talking about lack of enthusiasm, lack of execution, unacceptable, obviously, is an understatement, like Brian said. But let's talk about Doc for a second. What do you think was wrong in this game in the sense that what took Doc so long to adjust, and why do you think it took him so long to adjust? And part two, why did he even come out with this defensive game plan in the beginning?
I was thinking the same thing. Matisse, I'm looking at it right now. Matisse only played 19 minutes. Why? Why? Yep. Why is he only playing 19 minutes? if you know on the defensive end, that's going to help you get back in the game. You know defense is going to help you get back in the game. So you should have played him more to maybe get some steals, create some opportunities for somebody to get out on a break off of a steal or just great defense. And then you got Ben and him out there. I have no idea why Matisse wasn't out there. And he should have been on Trey more. Now, I don't think Trey was that big of a deal. He didn't drop 50 or anything like that. But the defense was not Sixers defense, and that was part of the problem. They shot in two. It was the disaster at the end. They shot over 50% from the 3-point line. You can't have that. They shoot like, I think I looked it up. They shoot like 44 during the year. That's a huge difference. So you can't have that. Now, it came down at the end of the game if somebody going to look at the stats now, but most of the game, they shot over 50%. It was close to like 54. That's ridiculous. You can't let a team shoot 54% from three. That just can't happen. And then all the turnovers. The turnovers was so bad, I was banging on the table like, what is going on? It was unforced turnovers that was making it so bad. It wasn't Atlanta. Atlanta doesn't play that good of a
Not at all. Not at all.
defense. Somebody that
Adam says, don't know how he brought Shake in at the end of the game for only 1 minute. Shake was like the human victory cigar for the Atlanta Hawks, right? Shake was like the human victory cigar for the Atlanta Hawks.
How about the one time Shake was in there, he had a wide open three and he hesitated on it.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, we're going to bring Andre in and see what he thinks, okay? Because we need another viewpoint here, okay, to find out what's going on, because it's getting a little heated in here, and I understand it's all about the heat. It's getting heated on the timeline, it's getting heated everywhere. But Andre, are you going to talk us off a bridge? Or come on, man, what do you got in game one?
What's weird is first of all, it's been killing me because you had Danny Green not scoring at all, right? Which was killing me. And every now and then, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good, man.
Let's rock and roll then, man. I'm gonna talk both of you off the bridge, and I'm gonna tell you why. This is round two. Number one. Number two, the Atlanta Hawks don't really. I'm looking at both teams. They don't really match up with us. But here's what's going on. My issue was the rotation tonight was a mid-season rotation. It was not a playoff. My biggest issue is that I actually have to go after Doc today because I was defending Doc all year, right? All year, Doc Rivers. But the rotation of the players today, with the exception of obviously Embiid coming in with the 39 with the bad knee and everything, was a mid-season rotation. I didn't understand that. To me, I didn't understand. You got to come with everything you got. It's round two, and after this, you're going to this is right before the Eastern Conference Finals. You got to put these guys away early, and to have people like Collins and Bogdanovich scoring 21 apiece, like to me, I'm like, come on, guys, we got to do something better than this. I just think that the rotation was a little weird. Matisse, I agree with Al. Matisse only played like 18 minutes. That's awful. Like awful against a high-powered rifle scorer like Trey Young. That's him. I was like looking at the whole game like, man, something's not right here. I even tweeted like, hey, listen, we're going to come out with the second half adjustments. We're going to do a few things. And I'm like, I still don't see them. And it was at the end of the game. The last quarter, for the most part, that I was like, okay, it's starting to make sense. I see. But then it resorted back to the same game 3 rotation in Milwaukee. I said, something looks weird here. But obviously we all know, not against Milwaukee, against the Wizards. But the bottom line was, I said, okay, now it makes sense. Doc is making adjustments. But why didn't he make the adjustment before the half? Because I said, okay, is the game getting too far away? No. Doc had the bench lineup at one time, but yes, Adam, you're dead on. He's spot on. Because to me, I said, all right, do we need Shake to come in? Do we need like a switch up with Maxey? I'm not really sure, but I'm looking at, okay, Doc's going to make the adjustment. He's going to make the adjustment. And it never came, and it was frustrating. The adjustment never came until the end. I'm like, bro, you should have been doing this. You should have been doing this. This guy's lighting you up almost 40. You should have been doing this. I'm like, he can't do us like he did New York. I'm sorry. He's not running through New York, Philly. Then he's just not going to do it, and we can't allow it to happen. So game one in the books, we get it. Now I think we came in with a little too much machismo, right? Like, we got this is our game. You know, we all know Capella doesn't match up with Joel. We all know that. We got this, and it bit us. It came back to bite us. See, we can't have that in game two. I think Doc is going to make all the adjustments he needs going into game two, and I don't. And this is my prediction for game two. I don't even think it's going to be close.
Wow, we on this. We here, bro. Because I feel that. I feel like a 25 point something like that. Like, it's just going up because they're not going to shoot like that again, and then we just going to smoke them. But
no way.
It's not going to mean anything if we don't go to Atlanta and play ball.
Right.
The biggest here's the problem though that I have. I talked about this earlier. You got your big man playing on a torn meniscus, gives you 38, 39 minutes. Dwight Howard barely even seen the floor. Okay, gives you 39 points. And listen, we're not understanding that this could be a game-to-game injury. So you just wasted a 39-point effort. Now, what if, nobody's talking about this factor. What if that knee flares up and Joe can't play game two? Right? We're singing a different tune. Nobody's talking about that, and that's the problem. That's why this series is so important, to keep your foot on the gas and not let up. And that's what they did tonight, in my opinion. They listen, I'm not saying we're not going to win the series, but what I'm saying is you have to take every game with Joel as a gift. And they didn't do that tonight. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Here's the other thing, Tony. I was very surprised that he even started.
Yeah. If
you're going to go, right, give him as much clock as he can. Because I obviously hindsight is 2020. If we knew we were going to lose, you shouldn't have played him anyway. You know, that type of stuff. Gave him way more rest to get him stronger. We can say all of this right now because we took the L. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. I was like, Joel starting. I said, I get it. It's the playoffs, but come on, guys. We got to we definitely we should have just had the White start and brought Joel in, got the crowd going, because Joel came in. Yep. We were down by 7, 8, 9 points or whatever. You put Joel in, the crowd gets behind us, and it's a whole different type of ball game. It's a whole different type of environment. The center was rocking. All I know is that they just needed to get on board with the fans. That's why I got a feeling it's not even going to be close in game two. I'm not even really projecting a blowout, but I'm definitely projecting controlling the game throughout for all 4 quarters. Because that's embarrassing today.
No,
it is embarrassing today, and it's embarrassing around the league. Yep. So us as fans, we deserve better than that.
Well, not just that, the narrative tomorrow or even late tonight with all the national skeptics out there that said Hawks in 5, Hawks in 6, and everybody in Philly was like, oh, gosh, don't know what you're talking. Let me just say this. I will say this, and it's no disrespect to anybody, but some of these guys been in the league a long time, right? There's a reason why, I'm sitting in my studio here, your studio. We're talking on a microphone, and we're not calling a game, and we didn't play on the NBA court, okay? So I'm not saying they have to be right all the time, okay? But to just come out and basically just land-base them like they're absolutely nothing is ridiculous to me. So they do have some premise behind what they're speaking. Okay, yeah, I'm not saying they're absolutely right, and there's a way to agree and disagree, but what I'm saying is because we talked about it on this show, that they do have shooters. They do have guys that if they get hot, can shoot the lights out. We may have a problem defending all their guys on the perimeter. What was the biggest thing we had? We had a problem defending the perimeter all year long, right? So when you have guys that are sitting out there like Bogdan, like Lou Williams, I actually, to be honest with you, I forgot Lou was their sixth man. I forgot he came back to them. I was like, yo, forgot Lou. I forgot all about it. Like, don't count out the Hawks. I'm not saying that they can beat us. What I'm saying is don't overlook them. And I think we as a fan base overlook the Hawks. And I think the team overlooked the Hawks. I don't know, man. A lot of people, I'm not saying you, but a lot of people did. A lot of people put their hands down right away. Oh, they stink. No big deal. I'm not saying, I'm saying a lot of people were up on that. All I'm saying is relax. Okay, they are an NBA team. Yep. They are in the playoffs, and they're coached by a very, very good veteran, old school player and a veteran coach. So there's a reason why they changed their identity once Lloyd Pierce left and Nate McMillan came in. There's a reason why. He has them ball. We can take this team, but we got to come back hard in game 2. Got to come back hard in game 2.
Absolutely, and part of that was Embiid. I bet you not one person would have came out and said anything if Embiid wasn't hurt. Nobody would have predicted Atlanta beating us if Embiid wasn't hurt. They were saying that if Embiid doesn't play or if Embiid is 50%, they said it like that. That was the only way that they said that. Nobody was that crazy to say that Atlanta was going to beat it. Now, we talked about their shooters. We knew that they had shooters. We knew that he had that floater. We knew that they was going to do the pick and rolls and the alley-oops. We knew all of this. We talked about all of this. So we knew what was going to happen. They defended very well. And that's bottom line. They did not defend it.
Well, see, that's what Tony was alluding to and what I was alluding to on my last point. We came into this game like it was a mid-season game when we had the issues with defending the perimeter. That's why I was saying the adjustments wasn't made. We can't wait until it's the end of the game to make the adjustments. You just can't do that. And you got one of your best defenders only playing 18 minutes tonight and scoring 10 points. It's like, wait, come on, what are we doing? Like we're underestimating a team that is almost lights out from the perimeter. The very thing that killed us with a lot of L's that we took this year.
How about coming out and shocking everybody and say, wow, the Sixers changed their lineup for the first time all year and start Matisse over Green? How about something like that? Then Atlanta would have been caught off guard. And then maybe things didn't go the way that they would have went if Matisse would have started. I don't know. I'm just saying something different than the norm. And then once you see it going downhill like it did, come on, let's go. We got to make some quick changes to keep the game. If we'd have stayed within 10 instead of getting down like, what was we, 27? Yeah. If we'd have stayed within 10, that could have been a totally different game if we'd have stayed around that 10. But once we got to 27, it was so, you know how it is. It's so hard to come back. When you're that far back, you waste so much energy just trying to get back in the game. It's hard to take over.
Yeah, and then it goes back to the same old type of like coaching philosophy. When it gets too high, every coach is going to say this. Well, if you chip away at the lead, If you get it down to 10, then you get it down. Yeah. You can get within a chance of closing the gap and probably being able to go ahead, and win the game. But here's the thing, and I just wanted to bring up a point that we, like you said, we talked on the other show. I remember when Ala Abdunabi was on our show, Heat Ratio Sports, Half Court Heat, was basically saying the Sixers, and when I asked him what the prediction is on the Wizards series, he said Sixers and 5, right? And we all said a sweep. Now, he said Sixers and 5, but the point I remember him making was that they may be coming in hot. And I said, well, I would agree with you if they played. Remember, I disagreed because I said I would agree with you if they played a full series against another team.
Right, right.
The Atlanta Hawks just played a full series against another team, and they came in hot. So now I actually get it when he says Sixers and 5 under that scenario. So now they came in hot, and we weren't ready for them to come in hot. Remember they say, oh, they can turn on a light switch. I said, well, the only thing is they haven't played a full series, but Atlanta played a full series. Don't get me wrong, Atlanta's not a bad team. They're not in round 2 for no reason. They didn't make the playoffs flat out. They're a good team, and we got to take them seriously and beat them up physically, and use our height and use our strength to take over or at least control each quarter, because some of those quarters we're like, what, man, they're just totally outscoring us. They're just outscoring us.
No, you're right. I mean, it was very surprising. It really was. And I don't think that, the comparison, everybody's like, oh, they're not going to be that high. Actually, we had a higher shooting percentage than they did. Right. So it's crazy, but people aren't looking at that. Right. Not looking at that. Now, one thing which is crazy. What's that?
You mean from the field, though? You don't mean from 3?
Yeah, but 3 was 8% difference. That's not earth-shattering.
But that's at the end of the game. I'm talking about 3 quarters. It was like 52%. At the end of the game, it start coming down.
But here's the thing: we shot 55% for the game. They shot 51. Right? So they shot 42. They shot 42% for 3. We shot 35% for 3.
Yeah, but here's the catch. You can't substitute their threes for. I understand what you're getting at, Tony, because the percentage is not that much difference where we should have been at least competitive in the game.
Right.
Now, the problem is there was one point in the game that they were plus 11. They were plus 11 for 3 points made, not just attempted. They were plus 11 with 3 points made, and we can't continue to accept their threes for our 2s. But with all that being said, it to me, it came down to strategy, and it came down to being prepared for this game. That's why I said all year long, I defended Doc. All year long. And I'm not just, obviously, Doc's not on the floor playing, but I get that. But the bottom line is, there was a few times that I was questioning the decisions. Now, like you said, we're over here on the mic. We're not on the sideline coaching this team. But But the eye tests a lot of times don't lie either.
That is true.
Like, yo, make the adjustments, do what you need to do. I just think that this is a series that we need to come out and be strategic and put our foot on their necks and put our foot on the gas. I mean, I don't even like using that phrase, foot on the neck, like not even on camera. But the bottom line is play with this 2021.
That's true.
Put our foot on the gas and just keep it moving, and we gotta punch them in the mouth, man. We're too strong. We're too strong and too big and too talented to be for this type of game. The game was weird, the whole game.
Yeah, it's crazy. You're right, though.
Real quick.
Yeah, what's up?
They made 10 more threes. That's huge.
They also shot 47 threes.
Right.
They attempted 43.
Right.
So I mean 47, and I think we were in the 20s. I think we attempted 29.
Yeah, we were 10 of 29, and they were 20 of 47.
Right. 40. Wow. 47 threes, man. That's unbelievable to me. That's unbelievable. Dan checking in 27-11 with McMillan, 32-12 count of playoffs, different team. I agree 100%. But let me ask you guys this real fast. 3 of 10, 30%. Ben for the free throw line. Now, again, not saying that's why we lost. I'm not going to be that guy because it's not. We lost this game in the first and second quarter. Had nothing to do with 3%, right? But the problem is that's going to be an issue as we go down the line. If you're going to shoot 25 to 30% in playoff games consistently, that's going to be a problem, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because here's the thing: McMillan is a smart coach.
Yep.
Mad respect to Nate McMillan. I'm gonna tell you something.
I love Nate.
Because here's what he did, and here's what smart coaches do. They look at a team and they find the chinks in the armor, right? They go, there's 2 things that the Sixers are. The hack of Ben works, number 1, and they can't defend the perimeter. They went back, they resorted back to the mid-season Sixers where they were losing a few games because of something simple as defending the perimeter. McMillan went to both those weak spots and exploited them. 3 for 10 from the free throw line, 47 attempts. He knew at one point or another they're going to resort back to the old Sixers and not defend the perimeter. and it worked.
Yep.
So we gotta give, that's why I said it goes back to strategy. You're not coaching against a novice coach. You're coaching against a very cerebral coach who knows what he has on the floor. But so does Doc. So Doc has to play a better chess game with these type of guys. And when that's where he has the advantage against Brooklyn. That's where we, as the Sixers organization, have an advantage against Brooklyn. Because I don't think Steve Nash can out-coach Doc Rivers.
No.
I just don't think that is going to happen. Now, his players may outplay us or by position, but we still have the Joel Embiids and the Tobias Harris that can, I'm sitting here talking about Tobias Harris. We should be talking about Ben Simmons in the same breath.
I agree. I listen, I completely agree. And I'm not panicked. Okay, I'm not I'm not like these. I'm not jumping off a bridge. I'm not. Remember, 2001, we went to 2 7-game series, one against the Bucks, one against the Raptors. Right, we still got to the finals. So I mean, nobody said it doesn't. Right? Doesn't have to be easy. Right? Exactly. It doesn't. So at the end, the whole goal is to get to the finals. Right? No, one way or another, we have to get to the finals, right. And we can't do it coming out cold for 2 quarters. I think, but again, Andre, you're absolutely right. It's a chess match. Now, okay, so checkmate right today for Nate McMillan. Now, let's go game 2, and let's see what Doc has, right? So Doc going to go back and look at the footage. Maybe he'll second guess himself a little bit. I just hope that Joel is able to play with the same intensity, because I thought he looked good today. I do. I thought he looked good today. I didn't see any issues. I seen a couple times he had a couple skirmishes. He squeezed a little bit of his mouth. I think, but that's listen, that's supposed to be understood. We know it's not an easy injury to play through. So I respect the hell out of him for doing what he's doing. But what would you say? And Andre, I ask you first, and we'll go to Al. So game 2, number 1, do you expect them to change the lineup at all? And do you expect them? I think we all expect them to change the rotation, but what do you think the biggest change will and should be for game 2?
One, I don't expect them to change the lineup unless Joel really can go. Because Doc, if he can't go, he can't go, okay? So but anyway. All right, I'm back. All
right, yeah.
Because that comment was hilarious.
I love it. Good job.
I can't read it that fast too. So here's I'm just gonna give one stat that's ridiculous, right? Number 1, we can't give up 74 points in the first half.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And what makes the stat even more amazingly scary is the 7th most in NBA history allowed by a home team. So it cracked the top 10 of points allowed for a home team. It's 74 points. You can't give up 74 points. To me, that goes, wait a second. What about our defensive prowess? We are a defensive team. And we didn't show up.
No.
We didn't show up. And for them to shoot 20 for 20, they shot 95% from the free throw line. And then we have been shooting 3 for 10. Like you said, we're not going to say that that's the why we lost the game. But the bottom line is the lineup, to answer your question, number 1, the lineup's going to stay the same because that's the winning lineup for the year, right? 2, we can't, now the adjustments has to be made in the perimeter. I don't think we're going to see heavy minutes from Seth in the beginning, because Danny's going to have to switch it up. 7 points is not going to get it, bro. And 0 points at the half is not going to get it either. So 0 points at the half and 7 for the game is not cutting it in the second round of playoffs, especially if you're an NBA champion. So we got it. That has to switch. Those are the reasons why I think that game 2, we're going to be all right. There's no panic. You guys are off the ledge. Hopefully, we're going into game 2 with a victory.
I like it. Al, same question for you. What you got, man?
I agree. We got the number 1 seed with the starting lineup. That starting lineup is some ridiculous number, 20, 20 something in like 6 or somewhere right there, somewhere around there. It's some big number and underneath 10. So let's roll with that, and let's play Matisse more. And then mismatch him and Seth, and maybe establish a lead. And then once we establish a lead, then we can do some other things. But we got to roll with what we came with and then make adjustments off of that. But obviously, got to make the right adjustments off of that. It has to be the right ones. If the wrong ones, we're back in the same position that we were in before. So the roll with the starting lineup, and then just come back and make the proper adjustments to the defense, because that's all it is defense. I can't believe we turned the ball. We was just like handing them turnovers. Like 90, we was like, well, I think the number was what, 12 in the first half? 12 turnovers? Like what? I don't know what was going on. Ben had 3 and B had 3 himself. I think Tobias had 3. I think that all was in the first half. I don't even know what was going on myself.
Yeah, it was like Andre said earlier. I mean, it was a really weird game, right? It was, and all I'm going to say is I agree with both you guys. I don't think you changed starting lineup at all, but I do think you really have to second guess your rotation a little bit and your defensive matchups. But one thing I will say to everybody, get ready to jump off the ledge and everybody going crazy. I hope you watch the Clippers and the Mavericks game, because the Mavericks were up 2-0. And everybody thought, oh, here we go with the Clippers. Here we go. Yep. No Kawhi, no Paul George. What happened today? Yeah, it went 7 games, but they still came out victorious. Right. Exactly. They came out. Kawhi the last 2 games was unguardable.
Tony, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I want to make sure I say this. It doesn't matter how we win. We just need to win. That's all that matters. If you go 7, so what? We won. We moved on. If people always complain about the small things. If we win by 1, if we win the championship by 1 point, is everybody going to complain about, oh my God, we should have won by more? Who cares? We won the shit. Let's one step at a time and let's move on.
I completely agree. I like it. Al got a little jigsaw energy tonight. I'm liking it, man. I like it. But you're absolutely right. Doesn't matter, right? It doesn't. And that's why I brought it up, because there was a lot of people jumping off the Clipper wagon. 100%. Oh, here we go. You know what I mean? And then they came back and they showed they're the deeper team. And again, this is why it's the playoffs. That's why we play. I hate to say, but it's why we play the game, man. Yeah. This is what it's all about. So, no, I'm not jumping. I do think, to back up a little bit for some of the people that, not to say the people that are jumping off the bridge, but the people that are concerned, I think the reason why that they're a little over the top is because, you know, some of the concerns that we've seen, like we just alluded to with the perimeter, but, you know, even in the last series, you know, even against Washington, even though we only lost to 1, didn't matter. But some of the things we've seen kind of veered to ugly head already in game 1. So I think maybe it's a little bit of it. And this is obviously a better team, a better shooting team. But no, listen, there's no doubt in my mind that we win this series. But you're right, Al. It doesn't matter how the hell we win it. Doesn't matter. I don't care if it's by 1 point a game. Listen, again, we talked about 2001. We watched, you know, that shot. I still thought that Vince Carter shot was going in, right? Yes. Nobody complained about that. Nobody complained about Glenn Big Dog Robinson kicking our ass in 7 games. Didn't matter. We still won. Right? It still won. So I'm all in, man. I'm still ready. They definitely, Vinny, you're right. I'll throw Vinny in here. You got to cut the turn. Yes. We talked about that 100%. Right? Yes. You cannot give out or give away the ball that easily and that much in the playoffs, especially against a team that has so many damn shooters. Okay. So I had a laugh because what was it? Was it Bodon who had the image of like telling the fans to quiet down? So I think that's going to come back to bite him in the ass a little bit. So I'm saying, man, I think it is. So he gave us some bulletin board material, so to speak. But listen, let's get healthy. Let's get right, man. Go ahead, Al.
They had 24 points off of turnovers, and we had 28. But the only reason we had 28 is because we were coming back, making steals and all of that type of stuff. But imagine what it was before we started coming back, how big of a difference that was off of our turnovers. Somebody said it during the game, but I don't remember what exactly the number was.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It is very, very good point. I mean, that is you can't listen. You know, we talk about this in all sports. You know, when we talk about this with football, you know, it's the turnovers. The turnovers are points off the turnovers. That's what buries you, right? And it's the same thing in basketball. You cannot be careless with the ball. You just can't be careless with the ball. And to both of your guys' points, that's exactly what happened tonight in the beginning. So, one thing for sure. This is Doc's room, man. Doc better be, and I'm sure he already is. I know. And Andre, let me ask you this, because I said me and Al talked about this before you walked in. I think I was a little perturbed a little bit that Doc was blaming a lot of the refs. And listen, I get that that the refs might have been a little different, and I just don't want to get into this that. Let's not take focus away of how bad we played and put it all on the refs now that, how do we guard Trae Young? Listen, I'm sorry, Doc, but the refs aren't the reason why you lost against Trae. All right? So I know what he's talking about. I was a little concerned about that. I didn't like that move by me.
No, I think it's just really, once again, it's when you're in round 2 of the NBA playoffs, you're pulling out all the stops. You're pulling out whether it's working the media, whether it's working the refs, working your number 6th, 7th, and 8th player off the bench, giving them some type of clickbait or what have you. But the bottom line is that's like he's been alluding to the performance of the referees throughout the whole season. I think it just finally came out and said, you know what, man, we can't even get a call. Because how many times?
My fault, real quick, Dre. Yo, you mean like I've been screaming for him to just get a tech?
Yeah, we've been saying that all year. So it's nothing new. It's nothing new. Now the timing. Look, Doc is going to say what he's going to say, but truthfully, by Ben tweeting that they love me not, they love me again. Doc saying, can I just play defense without getting a foul? Well, that's what Ben said, right? But I'm sorry, I'm 6'10". He said something to that effect. So to me, tonight is is Doc defending his point guard. Now, it's also putting whoever the officiating crew for game 2 on notice. Because if you don't do it now, and then you wait for game 3 and game 4, where we're in Atlanta, it's like, well, wait a minute, we got to be careful, because now that may be the same officiating crew in Atlanta, and you done put out some clickbait. Them guys, trust me, them guys look at social media too. So, I just think that there's a time to say that, and if there's going to be a time, it's going to be right now in game 1. If you said that in game 3 and 4, I would have a major problem with that, because it's like, all right, now you're whining. Where were you in game 1 and game 2? And if you're going to do something like that, you do it in this game. You don't wait for a series to be over or game 4 or 5, because now you sound like you just sour grapes. But this is, if you're going to say it right now.
That makes sense. I like it. I get it.
I'm glad I'm 74. The refs had nothing to do with 74 points in the first half, though. I know that. The refs had nothing to do with that. Al.
That's what I'm talking about.
100%. 74 points in our building, dude. In our building.
Wait a minute. With the game, bro. With the cerebral assassin. Triple H ringing a bell with the sledgehammer. How does that happen? Right? Come on, man. You know what I mean? He had the DX chop going and everything. Oh, man. I was so disappointed. Let's do this before we get out of here. I have a little fun. So let's I want to know who your guys' X Factor player is for game 2. Now, it could be a starter, could be a bench player, whatever it is before we get out of here. So, Al, and everybody check in the comments, too. Give me your X player for game 2. Who you think that X player should be. So, Al, who's player X for you in game 2?
I'm going to say Korkmaz.
Ooh. Okay.
Now he gave us 7 today, but he played well in the last game, that closer, and he played pretty well today. He didn't do any negative things. I think he's going to score 15 or more in the next game.
I like it. I like it. So, hey, listen, if he gives you 15 or more, I mean, that could be your X factor. I agree, especially in a game like this one, 128, 125. I don't think it's going to be that close, but if he comes out and gets another player for them to defend, that could be one of the difference makers. Andre, who's your who's your X factor for game 2?
I'm going Danny Green.
Ooh,
I'm going Danny Green because
redemption.
It's redemption, and he's probably in the gym right now. Right. I'm going Danny Green. That's a great pull. That Dan Green on the screen, not Danny Green. But anyway, that's a good pull because Maxey coming in and giving you those sparks in 3-4 minutes, and I think he's going to play more. But clearly, I'm going Danny Green because Danny Green is going to probably be in that rotation, getting Matisse more minutes. So if Matisse is in there getting more minutes, Danny Green is probably going to be in that rotation. So, I mean, part of that 5 that's on the floor at that moment, it's probably going to be Danny, Matisse, and Tobias. And he's probably going to run with, this is just my prediction, and he's probably going to run with, not Joel, with Howard in the center, Howard at the center. But what I'm going to go Danny Green because this type of performance tonight and 0 points in the first half, championship caliber type people, they don't like stuff like that. They don't like it after the fact. He's probably gonna come in and hit a few threes and make some good plays. I'm going Danny.
I like it. I'm gonna go with Tobias. And I know he had 20 points tonight. I get it. But we talked about this earlier.
Performance from him.
Exactly. That's what I'm looking at. And number one, I need him not to play scared. He looked like to me in that fourth quarter, he played scared. He was the aggressive Tobias. He wasn't the guy that we seen in 75 to 80% of the games in these playoffs. So for me, the X factor has to be Tobias because listen, the reason why he's here, we talked about it all the time. You heard Doc say nobody can defend him, right? Nobody, another forward can't defend Tobias. He's your stretch forward. He's your guy that can stretch the court, right? He's the guy that can get to the hole. He can post up. He's a mismatch nightmare. So for me, I need a 25 to 30 point game from Tobias in game 2. That's what I need because Joel's not getting me 39. That's what I think. He's not. Right. Joel, I'm going to count Joel out at like 27, 28 in game 2. And I think that's where a guy like Tobias has to pick up that slack a little bit. So for me, Tobias needs to come out a lot more hungrier, a lot more aggressive and get to the hole. We got a lot of Maxis. We got Curry. Adam says Curry. Pat says Curry 128, 101. I like it. Go Sixers. Vinny says X Factor's Maxey. Give him a look on Trey. He's small and quick and would be a curveball to throw at Trey. He had one stop on him today. I don't know, Vinny. I like that because, we talked about in game, listen, we talked about that in the Wizards game. Okay, how he's worked on his defense. And he is, listen, he's a smart club. We talked about that. Right. So he could be that guy to get in his head a little bit. Right. We always talk about it's not always physical. It's mental as well. So Trae Young getting his head a little bit. So I like that. Let's say Dan says a lot of Green's problems offensively were because he was exhausted guarding Young. It's a good point. I mean, that is a good point. So he was running around trying to guard Trae Young. So he's not as young as he used to be. So that is a good point brought up by none other than Danny Green. But
Danny Green on Green.
Dan Green on Dan Green. But listen, final thoughts. I will say this, and I'll get to everybody else. But my final thoughts are: don't jump. It's okay. I'm not going to go crazy. Of all people, you're hearing this from me. I'm not going to go crazy. Like I said, in 2001, I'm going to say it again. We went to 2 7-game series, right? Two 7-game series. We are going to be fine. Okay, Doc, get it together. Get ready. Say checkmate, and let's take this game too. Al, final thoughts.
Did you just hear what he said? We haven't heard that Tony all year.
I didn't know when we were.
I thought I was going to have to take him off for this one.
When he started talking, I started doing this
Yeah.
because I thought he was reading off. I thought he was reading off a ticker. Yo, you gotta. Yo, do you literally? He read a teleprompter over there somewhere. I'm like, who's this guy we're on with, Al? Well, we know who we're on with, Tony, because Al's frozen. So we know.
Yo, man, listen, sometimes I feel it, man. I feel it. Honestly, I'm not too concerned. I'm really not. I'm not. I'm definitely not. Yeah, he don't even know yet either. That's the best part about it. So, Dre, final thoughts, Andre. What you got?
I got Sixers winning game 2. It's like I said, it's going to settle the waters. Final thoughts. Everybody don't jump off the ledge right now. We're good. The fact that we even had that type of comeback and it's Philadelphia. Like I said, the fans deserve a little more than what we saw, and I know that those guys play with a lot of pride. So they're not just going out there looking to lose, clearly. So they're going to come out in game 2, and not just for themselves. And obviously they have to do it for themselves, but they're going to do it for the city. So let's get it. Let's win Sixers game 2 W, and we'll move on to game 3, and we'll worry about that when it hits.
I like it. I like it. So for everybody joining us here Sunday night at 8:30, 8:35 when we started, we went about an hour. Appreciate everybody checking in. As always, Vinny, Robert, Adam, Dan Green, Danny, aka Dan. But for real, everybody, we always appreciate the support. We love it. We absolutely love talking about our Sixers, and obviously, we hope to be bringing you another 20 episodes into the finals. So nobody get crazy. It's only one game. Okay, let's see what game 2 brings. Right, go. All right, let's see what game 2 brings. Go Sixers, Doc adjust. Everybody stay healthy, stay safe. And for myself, for Al, for Andre, for the Heat Ratio Sports family, everybody have a great evening, and we will catch you next Sunday.
Peace.